In the future, the Iceman cometh.
Welcome back, Space Cadets, to Hal and Dave's Trip to Jupiter, where we have the Ice Beam.
And I might make Batman and Robin references throughout this entire video. Let's see if that happens.
I'd be happy if you did, because I love Batman.
I mean, Batman, the movie.
Okay, maybe not Batman and Robin, but whatever. Close, you know.
All right.
I love my love of Batman overrides my disdain for Batman and Robin.
It's all right. I'm gonna give you a truth about this movie, and this is a very important truth about the movie.
Oh yeah.
If you take it as an adaptation of the Adam West TV show from the '60s, it works on some level.
You know, I get where you're coming from.
Yeah, like if you take it on that level alone, it's not the worst thing ever, and it's kind of fun and cheesy in its own way.
So there's actually like 2 elevators here, and we found a secret elevator just now.
I really think the big problem with the movie is the aesthetic.
What is it? The Bat credit card?
No, the fact that they still keep No, the fact that they still keep the Tim Burton-esque neon aesthetic for this campy movie.
Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah, in general, like I think that they were going. Here's the thing.
So white doors are our little bitch. And so is everything else.
But I will admit, it's not the best Batman movie, and I don't think just because I enjoy aspects of the movie that I think it's that great. But I will say...
Oh, I mean, it's totally possible to enjoy something that is terrible.
Yeah, well, the best Batman movie is still, to me, Mask of the Phantasm. Mostly because, to me, it just does everything perfectly.
Alright, so, I mean, I completely agree with you. I think Mask of the Phantasm is fantastic. But, taking that out of the equation, like, what would be the best live-action Batman?
Alright, the best live-action Batman movie to me. Alright, if I'm being honest...
So we went where we were kind of supposed to go. Hey, guys! Oh, yeah, so enemies that are frozen. Ironically, the jetpacks freeze in midair.
I don't want to say Dark Knight because that's the normie answer, but probably Dark Knight.
Honestly, I sort of, like, just personally... generally like
Batman. We saw Samus's eyes. Shit.
Yeah, the reflection from the flash in the visor.
I dug that.
Alright, so the shotgun ice, literally a shotgun effect, is very slow, very heavy attack. But I generally preferred Batman Begins, I want to say.
That's fair.
Because I just felt like it was more focused and you learn more about like Batman himself.
I think it's one of the few movies that actually does give decent development to Batman, because a lot of the Batman movies are always about the celebrity villains they get.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's kind of what I mean. Is like I really enjoyed seeing Batman become Batman and what informed his character.
Well, as much as like people say that Batman is the least interesting thing about Batman, I'm starting to disagree with that statement as a overall whole.
I don't think so. I mean, I think he's got very interesting villains, yes. Oh, by the way, so a long time ago, we came back to Samus's ship, and we found a body of water where the pirates were loading crates, and we are on the other side of that now.
Fair.
So, any thoughts as to where we might be?
I'm gonna say you're in a drug bird haven, and what you're stepping into is a lot of their special juice, if you know what I mean.
You're not too far off.
Joking aside,
So, this area is actually a massive, like, Super Metroid reference.
I see it now. Like
the sunken ship.
Yeah. That's really cool.
And I don't think it's meant to be the space pirate frigate from the first level, but it's like another ship that's gone down.
Okay.
Because this room is like a copy and paste from another part of the game.
Alright. But, in general, my,
And you know what, Space Cadets? When I say copy and paste, I mean it in the best possible way, because when you're a game designer, you make the most of those assets you make. If you copy and paste tiles or levels or rooms or something, you know, you're doing it because it's useful.
Dude, I try not to be hard on, like, when you have to do stuff for time. Like, in general, one thing when I'm, like, looking at comics and when they paste, like, a person's face multiple times to create beats, they're called beat panels, by the way, for people in the know. Oh, look! More inexplicable fish!
No, these fish make sense. Because they're, like, in a body of water, whereas the other ones were, like, in a swimming pool. It's like, how did they spawn in the swimming pool?
But But getting back to the Batman live action, Dark Knight, yes. I think is a better film. At the very least, I like the character development. But I will agree, Batman Begins is definitely more focused. I still have a love of the Tim Burton film.
It took me a very long time to see it. Like, I saw it actually within the past, 5 years, I would say.
I grew up with that film, so it has a huge nostalgia place for me. But I will admit, I actually like Batman Returns a lot.
So, Reaper Vines, same concept, new
form. I watch it every Christmas. Batman Returns. It's one of my go-to Christmas movies.
Yeah. Thermal visor, power beam. Die!
But since I'm... Sorry, now I'm just on a Batman kick.
No, I like it. I mean... So someday maybe we'll play a Batman video game. But, there's definitely a couple games we need to get through before we get there.
Well, my favorite. Well, if I'm gonna do Batman, I'm gonna have to go on the Bob Kane rant. You won't stop it.
No, I know you, and I agree with you. I think that it's a rant that needs to be ranted.
Well, especially if we're doing that game first before the changeover in policy, as I call it. But we'll talk about it when we get to it. I'll talk about it more. So, one of the things I like with Batman and everything else is just general... I know I'm talking about Batman during a Metroid game, but I don't care anymore.
I mean, I think what's important to note for Metroid right now is just that, where we are right now is... we are stuck underwater, and we do not have the gravity suit.
Ah, fair.
Because, as anyone who knows Metroid knows, the gravity suit is what allows you to move freely underwater.
Like Batman, Samus relies on gadgets.
Samus relies very heavily on gadgets.
Yeah.
So,
But, back when I was younger, I was really heavily... Those were some of my favorite go-to Batman films was Batman and Batman Returns. I like those films a lot. I gotta admit, the Penguin attack on Gotham is a surrealist nightmare I just can't help but love.
Okay, we missed one. There's one last one that we need to hit.
I wish Samus right now was fighting penguins with jetpacks. But
penguins swim underwater. They don't need jetpacks.
No, it was flying jetpack penguins in the air. It was a
penguins cannot fly. Stop confusing me.
Yeah, they can't fly if they have a jetpack. Penguins with jetpack.
Didn't in the Batman the penguin have some hot geisha girls or something?
Yeah, that was a weird element, but Batman was also trying to be very anime.
They were. They got Jeff Matsuda or whoever it was who did the Jackie Chan Adventures character design.
Yeah.
So this enemy actually has magnetic forces that pull you in.
Yeah, it was the first attempt to do a straight Batman series because
I got pulled down.
I think everybody.
My visor also got canceled out.
I think everybody's afraid of doing a Batman show nowadays because of the animated series. Which, to be fair, I would too.
Like I said, they should be. Because that one was so classic. They did it so well.
There are interesting elements about the Batman, but to say, I think for the most part...
It's like, Batman, for as many things as he can be, is kind of one thing. And he works best in a certain environment, and they nailed that with the animated series. And so anything else will struggle to live up to that.
Well, the Batman had the issue of it had to fight against itself so often.
Is that
and
a target?
Here's the thing. There are plenty of good episodes of the Batman, and don't get me wrong, there's some good parts about it, if you're a fan of that show.
I know the Joker was played by Kevin Michael Richardson, who did a weirdly accurate Mark Hamill impression.
Yeah, that should tell you. They're Mr. Freeze.
He was super anime. He was just covered in ice and spikes.
Well, he was also a dud of a character, and I can understand.
Didn't they go back to classic Mr. Freeze where he didn't? He was just a.
They didn't want to be compared to the animated series, and at that point, I'm like, the thing about Mr. Freeze, you can't do him any other way anymore.
Well, because before he wasn't much of a character, and then they gave him something. Oh no, we're falling again.
Well, the big problem with doing Mr. Freeze as the way that a lot of places try nowadays. You want to know why?
It's so hard to see under here.
Yeah.
But yes, continue.
You want to know? Well, the thing is that if you want a generic ice villain in the DCU, you have a lot of go-tos.
Captain Cold.
Killer Frost.
Killer Frost. Is Killer Frost really that generic? I mean, at least I've seen like Young Justice versions of her where she's at least sexy.
She has a good gimmick that everybody fails to utilize.
What's her gimmick?
She actually needs heat to survive. She absorbs heat to create the cold. She creates the accents.
That's fancy. That actually makes sense because that's sort of like how air conditioners work.
Yeah, and she literally feeds off heat itself. So she has a really good gimmick and a possibly interesting exploitable weakness because she actually hates being in the cold.
Who is she generally associated with? Like Flash?
Actually, her main villain, her main hero was Firestorm. She's a Firestorm villain.
Who is Firestorm?
Oh God, I thought you would at least. Okay, let me get back to the Mr. Freeze.
Space Cadets, this is Hal's fault. He didn't prevent this from happening. Where's the last freaking? Okay, 1, 2, 3,
4.
Oh my God, 4 is right next to the door. I've been jumping around this whole fucking time.
The irony!
The irony indeed. Where Hal spent this whole episode while we went on a Batman ice villain tangent.
Okay, so Icicle... like I said, Icicle has a good gimmick.
Killer Frost?
Sorry, Killer Frost, yeah. Killer Frost has a good...
right here. It's this.
So Firestorm...
God damn it.
Firestorm also has a good idea to him too, but I'll focus in on the ice villains. Anyway, so it's not the fact that Killer Frost is necessarily generic. I'm just saying that if you want like ice villains with very little motive, there are way better options
than Mr. Freeze. Oh, you know, okay, so this like greatly resembles our save station before the Parasite Queen from the first mission.
Yeah, and also, Mr. Freeze is one of the few Batman villains who isn't insane, which is something I actually appreciate.
I mean, he's insane in his very focused way.
Kind of, but he's not like...
I need a drink, Space Cadets. This has been difficult on Hal. Also, the Wiimote goes all over the place because it's pointing, so if I move it all, it does this.
Yeah, fair. So, Firestorm, I'll get back to him. So, Firestorm is a superhero character created by Gary Conway. He was a writer for Spider-Man, and he was one of the DC Comics' many attempts to make a Spider-Man-like character.
Really?
A relatable superhero. But with a DC... This one has a DC Comics twist. So, Firestorm has a really interesting idea and gimmick. But he's also possibly too overpowered.
Okay.
So Firestorm is Ronnie Raymond, and you remember that Spider-Man comparison right there?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Anyway, so he runs into this professor working on an experiment named Stein, and he gets caught in the explosion, and it fuses them together into a superhero named Firestorm. And Firestorm can rearrange atoms to create something else. Did you...
This sounds like some kind of Full Metal Alchemist problem.
Yes. They fuse together to become one superhero, and it's a good idea, actually. It's interesting, actually. Like, you know, you can do all sorts of mental stories. Ronnie, unfortunately... The Firestorm comic is not the worst thing ever. I know there's some guy online who just hates it, like, with a passion. And to be fair, Firestorm has one big problem as a character that I don't think they're ever going to solve unless they...
Yay, we got another energy tank.
It's that, you know how some people say that Superman is the strongest guy in the DC universe?
Oh, yeah.
Firestorm's problem is that a lot of his villains are weaker than him.
Okay.
Like, some of them are just generic thugs. Like, there's one guy, like, I think there's called, like, Sword and Cannon or something, whatever. I don't remember their names right now. I don't have a DCU book to look up. One guy...
the game decided we were taking too long, by the way.
Fair. One guy is literally a werewolf, but they're fighting a guy whose power is to rearrange the atoms of material. He also has Fire Blast, can fly, go through objects. He's a powerful character, and So
wait a second. Did I screw this up? Are we completely? Oh my god!
What did you do?
Power suit augmentation required to advance. We came here too early.
Oh shit!
Space cadets. Hal made a mistake.
Did you make a mistake? You fuck!
Hal miscalculated. Open up door. We need to get out of here.
Sorry, I'm like, oh god, I feel so sorry. Jesus.
We made you listen to comic book tangents. But...
Well, now you know who Firestorm is!
Has nothing to do with the fact that... okay.
Well, that's the episode title. Now you know who Firestorm is.
Oh, shoot. You know, it just occurred to me where the door is that we needed to hit before this. Can we get out of here? I want to get out of here. Bam. Bam. Bam.
But...
Wait, can we go?
Are we stuck here? Did you
we're not stuck. No, okay, the door opens. We're good. We're good.
Okay.
No, okay, because... So, like, you know, a long time ago, when we finished recording our battle with Thardus, we passed by a door that was a white door, which is the ice beam. And I kind of got my signals crossed because, you know, there was once upon a time where I had this game memorized and I played it, like, you know, every couple of months. Yeah, the gravity chamber. And it's actually been a while. And especially recently, Hal's computer brain has been frazzled by a lot of real-life things that has been happening.
It's been a while since I've listened to Nickelback.
No. We're falling.
It's been a while since I've seen Samus fall on her face. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So the way I was thinking about it, the way I was remembering it incorrectly, was that we had to pass through this area in order to obtain the gravity suit, whereas what clearly we needed to actually do was to obtain the gravity suit to clear this area.
You got mixed up.
Yeah, Reaper Vines.
Oh, freaking tentacles.
No, because there is absolutely a part you need to go through underwater without the gravity suit in order to get to the gravity suit.
Okay.
That's how it always is.
Fair.
You know, that's a throwback to Super Metroid.
Yeah, of course.
But I kind of confuzzled it in my mind.
You confuzzled.
Like, shit. We're going to make this probably like a little bit of a longer episode just to make up for all that.
Fair. But you can listen to me talk about Firestorm.
Dave is a veritable repertoire of comic book knowledge.
To make up for House.
Everything you never wanted to know.
Well, now I think our audience know who Firestorm is, which...
I mean, okay, the ability to rearrange molecules is pretty awesome, and like I said, it's kind of like a Full Metal Alchemist thing. I assume that they would apply the laws of equivalent exchange.
Some of them did. Though I will say Firestorm had an issue where I wish they didn't rip off a bit of more Swamp Thing runs, and I think he has actually enough unique ideas to himself that I really wish they didn't do that in the later run of the comic. Like, also combining two people to create one superhero is a great idea.
It sounds quite strange, but then again, most superhero comics are.
Dude, like...
Oh, shit.
One of my favorite superheroes is Captain Marvel, Shazam. That version. Great idea! Little kid becomes a Superman character.
Okay, that's a good idea, but like... Okay, so...
Well, it's like, dude,
I am at
the
bottom.
if you take a look at it,
at bottom.
How strange it is. I mean, like a kid yells Shazam, gets hit by lightning, turns into Superman.
Yeah, okay, but if you analyze it, yeah, Space Cadets, don't pay any attention to what's going on screen right now because Hal is sucking at this game. But you know, let's think about the commentary of superheroes for a second here, where Shazam, a kid crows out a magical call and then becomes an adult with incredible powers.
Yes.
You know, that is like a kind of a like coming of age, like a puberty metaphor right there.
Hell, without it we wouldn't have Sailor Moon.
I mean, yeah, that too. Like, you know, Sailor Moon goes from being kind of a schoolgirl to being a little bit more of a sexy, like, mature woman. Like it's not, like, massive with her, but it is a little bit of a, like, you know, empowerment.
Well, Captain Marvel, like I said, is the original Magical Girl show. Like, if you want to look...
Captain Marvel, the original Magical Girl. And we're not talking about Marvel.
Yeah. Well,
oh, shit. That just happened. What is wrong with this jump?
You can double jump.
I did double jump.
Well, maybe you need to double jump later.
I'm hindered by liquid environment.
Fuck you, liquid environment.
This is practically this is like an outtakes episode.
Okay, let me see. Stupid DC Comics lore shit. Alright, well, the initial question. Look, there's enough ice villains in DCU that you gotta make them different.
Mr. Freeze will always be best boy, but,
Well, here's the thing. The big thing is that when you have so many of the same type of villain, you gotta make them stand out. And, like, you know that whole thing with Killer Frost and her gimmick? Yeah, that's cool.
You talk about comics for a bit. I need to focus on this. So not drop the same jump.
When you have various ideas.
No.
Ow, you did it.
Fucking first-person platforming.
It's the worst.
I hate it.
Well, it always feels awkward as fuck because.
Well, you know what? Like, I realize it's because I'm doing this level wrong is part of the problem. Alright, so this gel zap is screwing us up, by the way.
Die.
Like, literally, you get sucked towards them. Yeah. No.
Why did you do that?
No.
Why did that happen?
It was a gel zap.
I know.
I can't life.
You want me to do it?
No. I can't even.
Alright. Okay. Alright. Okay. Let's get back to Batman.
You know that thing that you do when you're trying not to laugh and you like bite the inside of your cheeks? That's what I'm doing right now. I'm like, okay, time to get serious.
Alright. So, let's get back to Batman, since that seems to be the best thing anyway. Okay.
Batman is best boy.
Alright, so the worst villain in Batman's Rogues Gallery is the Polka Dot Man.
Boker's Joner.
Yes, Boker's Joner. No, the Polka Dot Man is one of the... Alright, even as a goofy villain who could develop some love, like, I now like Kite Man. I like Kite Man. Because Tom King actually did some good work with stuff with him, and now I like him. Kite Man, hell yeah. Polka Dot Man is irredeemable bullshit. He just likes polka dots. If you can find a good way of making him interesting... Actually...
I mean, what was the year that this...
1950s.
Was invented?
Well, let me tell you about another bad one that not even Grant Morrison could do. The Ten-Eyed Man. Now, his gimmick is so freaky and weird, and it's one of those cases of,
whoa.
I think you gotta get to the other side and
not
jump.
Be standing under something.
So the Ten-Eyed Man can see through it with his fingers.
Oh, okay. Like, his fingers literally have eyes attached to them.
No, he just can see through them through
that's
bullshit.
Slightly less bullshit, but still bullshit.
Well, like, so he sees like this, so he'll have one hand pointing behind him, and he's like, I can see everywhere!
Hey, Batman, how's it going?
You can't sneak up on me because I'm the fucking goddamn Ten-Eyed Man.
Why isn't it like the main villain of like an Arkham game or something?
I guess it could be disturbing if you like did it where he like has to collect 10 eyes from people and carves them out of people. Oh my god, I became a gritty 90s writer for a second. God damn it.
So, yeah. Good job there.
I know. I became... Like, they tried to make a dark version of Catman 2 back in the 90s. That didn't work either. Oh, God. The 90s. You were special. But besides that, Ten-Eyed Man is kind of one of the more bullshitty villains. Calendar Man got serious because after the one portrayal where they made him Hannibal Lecter.
Oh, okay.
I'm not... Okay, some people really like that portrayal, and it's been part of every portrayal since. I've not been a fan because it's just literally Hannibal Lecter as a Batman villain.
So it's not really, like, an original character.
Calendar Man's initial gimmick was that he just did crimes based around holidays, and I kind of like that a bit more.
It was very campy.
I like... Yeah, and nowadays it's just like he's just Hannibal Lecter who tells you about what he did during a certain holiday, and I'm like, oh my god. Give it a rest. He's like Zaz. And Zaz...
Zaz is kind of the most basic, like, street-level villain.
Well, Zaz's whole thing was... Here's the thing. Zaz actually did have a unique element to him, was his perception of time was fucked up immensely. So it actually kind of gave him a unique element. But nowadays, he's often used as generic serial killer villain for Batman.
Yeah, I can see why.
Yeah, and in general, it's like, Zaz just ends up not being too important because it's like, well, he's not that interesting if he's just generic serial killer Batman villain. There's other more...
We got back to the ship, so let's just leave this planet.
Let's never come here
never
again.
Come back. But Space Cadets, our wanderings have led us astray. But perhaps next time we will find our answers.
Next time, Samus versus Zaz, the ultimate showdown.
On Hal and Dave's Trip to Jupiter.